all tied up, and this first set is dead even.
Unbelievable combination.
Wow.
Beautifully done.
What a great spot.
Hello and welcome to the 2025-26 APTA Tour. We're live from the Weston Golf Club in Weston, Massachusetts, bringing you the 2026 Boston Open APTA Grand Prix with live streaming brought to you by the APTA membership and our tour presenting sponsor, Corient. Tournament support has also been provided by the following local tournament sponsors: Platinum sponsor Pure Hockey, Gold sponsors Labor, Worcester Air Conditioning, Bully Boy Distillers, Weston Golf Club, and Scott. And our silver sponsors Aon, ORE US Management, Corient, Miller & Company, MGS Group, Surfside Vodka Drinks, Win Stanley Enterprises, and our bronze sponsors Corcoran and Havlin Insurance Group, Narragansett Beer, and Xenon Paddle. I'm Brad Easterbrook alongside Will Colmar, bringing you men's semifinal round action between our number 2 and number 3 seeds. 2 seeds of Adam Morgan and Graham McNerney, our reigning national champions. And the people they defeated in last year's finals are 3 seeds of Mark Powers and Guillermo Nunez. And in the chair we have Charlie Beal. And of course it's 2 out of 3 sets with no ad scoring, with the server getting to choose who plays it. Will, welcome to the booth. Looking forward to this.
Yeah, dude. I'm still bumping to that bump in was crazy, man. Did you see that fist pump at the end? That's a timely fist pump. Yeah. we may see a couple today. We'll see.
We're definitely going to see some fist bumps.
Oh man, I'm telling you, that was good. Yeah, glad to be here, man. This is we're nice and cozy in here. It looks pretty chilly. What are we saying the temperature's at right now?
I mean, it's about 17 or 18 degrees. The sun has come out. It has warmed some things up. It's definitely playing warmer than it was this morning. They'll be able to compress the ball some, but still more like the long spinners and the balls behind people will be better players. But this is definitely not going to be as cold as it is in the morning hours. And these guys will not have the same kind of thing they're dealing with. Now they're going to deal with a little sun coming on the side for a little bit during this match. But weather-wise, it's definitely warmed up some. But the feels like it's still probably down around 10 degrees.
And of course, as we were talking about earlier, a rematch of the national finals last year. A difference being the sudden deuce. So that will be pretty interesting to see how that plays out. Obviously, a little bit different condition-wise, too. I was trying to figure out who the colder conditions favors, and I can't figure it out. I can see both sides of this one. On one hand, you have a little bit more spin potential in Nunez and Powers, and then on the other side, you got a little bit of the stability factor and, kind of longer, slower tempo, which may be benefited from. Maybe it does lean a little bit toward Morgan McNerney. I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough to say. We're going to see how that develops, and we certainly can talk about it as it goes on. We'll take a quick look at the players at the court. Top left of your screen, we got Adam Morgan, who's a director in Chicago area at the Birchwood Club, and his partner, Graham McNerney, who always sports some great hair. On the bottom left of your screen, we got Mark Powers and his partner, Guillermo Nunez, the lefty. So looking forward to a real battle. Last year's national final was over 5 hours, Will. And, the new scoring system came into play largely because of that and another 5-hour match they had during the season. They were talking about changing the ball, right? They were talking about all sorts of different ways so that these 5-hour matches couldn't really come into play as much. And they settled on the scoring system, which to me has been phenomenal and really good for the men's game. So every time it deuced now, the point's going to be a sudden death game. In their last matchup, Powers and Nunez won all 5 of their no-ad deuce games and won handily. Whoever wins that deuce game battle, I think frequently it's like winning a turnover battle in football. You're frequently going to win the match.
Yeah, I believe it does have. There is some advantage to being an aggressive type player, especially if you've got, maybe 3 to 4 consecutive game points to win, and maybe a team that plays tighter has some advantage getting it to deuce and then getting in a back and forth battle with you. On the other hand, I'm curious to see how it affects players when the pressure's on, because my gut would tell me that if I was an aggressive type player and I needed to play a tighter point, I might actually slow my style down, just because each point is essentially worth a little bit more. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle that. I don't expect it to change the style of Nunez Powers much, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think the scoring system, as it's shown out over the season, and Graham McNerney's walking off the court here, get a last-minute water, and maybe take a quick bathroom break. You see Adam Morgan there on your screen, decoding, taking a layer off so he can be swift up there and pound those drives on both sides, which he does all the time. The scoring system to me has definitely made a difference and been generally negative for the teams who really work the mental game, like play long point after long point after long point, because they could do it infinitely in a deuce game. Like play one, then it goes back to deuce, then do another and another and another. Here you only get one extra chance to do it, right? Not an infinite extra chances. So I think it made it harder for the teams who count on just the mental component of the game, like playing these really, really long points. And if you had to put one team of these two in that category, it would be McNerney and Morgan. They will play longer points generally than Nunez and Powers. It's not that Nunez and Powers can't, because they were right there in that 5-hour match with them. It's just that it's not in their more natural style. They basically just have a little more offensive weapons from the backcourt, whereas McNerney is probably the least offensive of the four players from the backcourt. From the net, he's phenomenal and one of the best players in the country, bar none. And his skill set works more there. From the backcourt, though, he's super steady, never misses. He pushes block. He's probably the best block lobber in the game, and he moves the pieces around the board beautifully. And Adam Morgan cannot get 10, 12 balls, Will, and you know this, you've played with him in the past, and he's ready to drive any ball at any moment, and he can be iced out for a minute, and he's still ready to get the next ball. He's incredibly focused and incredibly intense.
Yeah, that's the really interesting conditional part of this to me, which is drives in general in cold weather are essentially less effective. It's easier to absorb the power, so Adam's blooming drive to me maybe comes down a slight notch. However, Graham's, as you put it, moving pieces around element, I think kind of comes up a half notch. I really think that's a super valuable thing to do in cold weather. You see, let's turn for one sec here to the umpire.
To my right, in the deuce court, from New York, Guillermo Nunez.
We got Charlie Beal.
His partner in the ad court from New York, is Mark Powers. To my left, in the deuce court from Lake Bluff, Illinois, is Adam Morgan. And his partner from Chicago, Illinois, in the ad court, Graham McNerney. I apologize. McNerney won the toss and elected to receive.
All right, so McNerney and Morgan win the toss. Powers and Nunez will start us off.
Gentlemen, are we ready?
And there's umpire Charlie Beal. Go ahead.
I'm just curious to see how they work that in the backcourt, because I really do like that kind of poking around type of play in cold weather, trying to get players moving forward, backward a little bit more, dislodging them, and getting into kind of like hands battles. I think that's a really valuable thing to do when the conditions are colder. You also may be, willing to move up and try to stuff volleys a little bit more, and that's going to kind of put an emphasis on re-lobbing rather than driving through. So we'll see. Like little prodding drives like that.
Yeah, the only danger with those is if they do get up to the net, the drop volley becomes a real thing. But right now, you can see the willingness this first start of this very first point is so different than the quarterfinal match that both of these teams play.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like they're settling in for, it's not going to go 5 hours, but they're settling in here. You don't see Nunez and Powers forcing a tough cutter or trying to force the play. That time he just dumps the volley short and low. It's lower than the net. Morgan, not a lot of spin on his drive. He's more of a drive down guy. That might have been too low for him.
Yeah, he likes that shot, and that little bit of grab that you get in warm weather, I think, helps him quite a bit on that type of ball, which, again, we'll see how much he bites on that today, but...
All right, so he just pushes that one wide, Nunez. Like, you're not even seeing them attempt a cutter yet. In their previous match, they were just rolling it in there, attacking the screens hard. It was colder. Great lob there, placement. You can see him aim down the line there.
Yeah, I think it's essentially harder to hurt players on both sides of the ball. You lose the spin at the net, and, the ball stays lower on the other side, kind of limits your... And, of course, the screen's not quite as playable. So I feel like matches tend to go
the cold weather
in
is
the longer
hurting
direction.
The teams. Right.
It doesn't allow for as much offensive capability, I think.
Yeah, the way you can get a little more is you can do a little more into the screens because it's not going to fly off as much, but the rest of it...
Yeah, I'd qualify that as, neutralizing maybe, but not necessarily like I can cut a ball where the spin, dies completely. I think you'll see very few of those. Yeah,
you can still go long and through the court, though. And I expect to see a bunch of those, where you're trying to keep the ball low, get it low into the screen, cut that ball long and low. The Nunez long cutter, Powers long cutter, they can be very effective out here. A couple of just little loose errors here as these teams settle into this match. Good chase there from Adam Morgan. That's going to spin off his paddle as he gets caught. And he's looking up like he lost in the sun, and there definitely is some sun up there, right in that corner that he's in. You can see it right in his face.
Yeah, he's glowing. I will say I do really like the roller that set that up, and I think if I'm Nunez Powers, I'm probably looking at throwing some of those in, particularly due side. I'd be tempted to do it to Graham too, though.
Oh, without a doubt.
Nice ball.
I think you can attack more with the rollers today because it's not going to come out as hot. You're a little safer. It's not going to pop up as much. And there he gets 2 turnaround drives in a row. Well done there from Morgan, who's very good at that shot. But completely settling in here. Good chase there.
I'll also say this. I mean, not having played any tournaments this year, but having taught a lot, the balls do feel reasonably softer this season. And maybe that's given them just enough compression to still generate in this cold weather the type of spin that we're seeing. I mean, it's not nearly as heavy as it is when it's warm, but it still looks like it's moving a little bit, so I wonder if that plays a factor here too.
Ooh, what a play. Oh, great job. And you see, there's the brazenness of Nunez. Most people retreat in this scenario, but he stands there, and he doesn't I think he expected him to go back. And Nunez just blocks it back. Powers makes a good stretch shot. He misplayed that a little bit. Great hands to finish it out there, 40-30. All right, we have our first sudden death game right off the bat here. And they're going to go to Morgan. Maybe just because of the sun factor.
Yeah, agreed. I don't think they would normally do that.
Yeah, and he's been very effective. He's driven it through him 3 times today already in this game. They're trying to work that. Rolls right at the ball hard. They got him out of position for the long cutter. He misses his spot. He's got to get that to the back screen, not the side. It cuts out, bounces off. Great job.
Yeah, Adam is having some trouble tracking that ball. That sun is gnarly over there.
Working it hard, and he can't handle that. They spun him around pretty good.
Nunez Powers. They lead 1-0 in the first set.
So I think, Will, that's a sort of a little interesting start to the game, how they've settled in already. Nunez Powers at the end there, they carved it up pretty good. They got a couple of short ones, and they definitely worked it into that corner. Clearly the sun is coming into that corner hard. That's going to go down soon, But so we'll see if it's going to be a continuation where they're going to really try to work that Nunez overhead in there.
And to your point, Brad, we saw how that sudden deuce did benefit Nunez Powers, not getting locked in an eternal deuce game, going back and forth with maybe the slower play, equalizing it a little bit more. So be interesting to see how that plays out the rest of the match.
All right. So once again, I'm Brad Easterbrook with Will Komar, and that is Graham McNerney serving here. McNerney Morgan, the bottom of your screen. And there are number 2 seeds and our reigning national champions against Powers and Nunez on the far side. And there's a little confusion on a pretty simple dink. And Powers kind of reached out with his forehand, and then Nunez thought he was hitting it. And, of course, this is where Graham McNerney does his work. So good at the net. The variety of overheads, probably the best in the game. He's able to hit, because he's so tall, he's able to hit waterfalls from much further off the net than anyone else. He'll use third panel smashes, cuts, screens. He'll bait you into a drive and then close the net with a drop volley or an attacking volley. This is where he does a lot of work and damage, shutting down points and actually just, finishing them sometimes at the net.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it looked like they were trying to direct to Nunez, and it looks like now they're back on that pattern, probably because of the sun. But you are seeing Graham swing it. Ooh, that's tough.
Nice. Oh. And then Powers holds the backhand, but he goes right at McNerney.
Brad, have you ever seen somebody take an overhead off of somebody else's side back screen? I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Well, that shot certainly is coming to play, that sort of lefty cutter thing, or either cutter off the screen, but that's pretty cool how he got it over that side. You're right. You don't see that very often. That's the danger of the mid-court stuff against him. He's right on top of the net. Really good use of ball. He's going to drop it again. Look at this cut.
Wow.
Sick gets. Nunez is like, come on, Powers, get that for me. Not this time. It was one too many, I think, Will. Of the cat and mouse games. They were never in control of that cat and mouse. It's great if you're the cat, but not so much when you're the mouse.
Yeah, this ain't no Tom and Jerry out here.
40.
Where'd that go?
It's someplace that shouldn't have. He didn't want it to go there. Yeah, it just went off into the other court. Good kicking serve there from McNerney, and Powers frames it off the top. 40-15.
That return was hammered, and this is the benefit of volley in cold weather. Had him able to absorb that.
Oh,
nicely
what a
done.
forehand from Powers. Fist pump.
40-30.
Hammered. Settling into the deuce side pattern. Morgan going to throw a barrage of rollers and underheads. And you see Graham, you think he likes trying to swing it into that second or third panel on the ad, but I wonder if it's more of like a way to open up the court. Here it comes again. Oh.
Yeah, McNerney and Morgan played against Nunez Powers also in Aronimink in Philly Open. and they beat them there handily. They had a good strategy. They were just kind of dumping in there steady and slow, and Powers and Nunez sort of lost the rhythm of what they were trying to do and couldn't get their offensive footing, and they just out-solided them. They're just more solid, and they had a little better strategy. You can see Nunez and Power committing to hanging in there. All right, another no-ad game. They're going to go into they're going into Powers, which is rare, but the serving angle is better for him, and he's got a better serve to that side. So here we go. And we said early on that these no-ad games clearly play a factor. You know, whoever tends to win them in these close matchups would usually tend to win the match. So here's 2 for 2. Right in the crease. This is going to be the cutter again.
Oh,
yeah, he's going to have to be super careful. Here he goes, working. Long cutter there. See if he goes back in there to Morgan. See if they can spin him around. Holding little 3/4 drives.
And you know, this is a tactic I saw Nunez and Powers implement for a while in a couple of their matches where they went predominantly toward the deuce side. It ended up hurting them in the finals of nationals last year. But I think on a day like today, even when Morgan is blooming his forehand, the power's not going to hurt him that much. So I kind of like it more here, and I think it would be a little more dangerous to kind of bait those more disruptive plays out of McNerney. But be interesting to see if Morgan and McNerney do anything in the backcourt to address that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there you saw a missed drive. It's just been a couple of errors. I would say even that last error from Morgan, he got spun around pretty good, you know, in the last no-ad game there in the final point, but he's just missing a couple. He's got to calibrate a little. You know, I wouldn't expect him to miss that last lob he just hit wide before.
Yeah, well, like that last forehand, Morgan just punished, and nice move there. That's to me, that's what you have to look to do is get a ball down and move forward. I like that. You're just not going to blow through players that much on the drive. I don't know.
All right, Mark Powers serving. And that was a good move there from Morgan. You know, it's interesting. I still believe, even after I think he was kind of like almost the MVP of last year's National, Morgan, that people don't – he's like an unassuming looking guy. You know, like people still like – it seemed like Powers didn't think he was going to go in there and cut it off. You know, like, but he does. And he's right there all the time. Such a good player, Morgan.
He doesn't often use those disruptive tools. He has them. He's just a very calculated player, so you don't tend to see him. You know, whereas you'll see McNerney, of course, pull moves like that, and you know all of this stuff out. So
double drop. He goes the double drop. No, that was craziness. Double drop. You don't see that every day. Yeah, we got it all working. Drop. Here we go. Dink. And the attack. He goes for the high risk close and put away. Why not? Love it. 30-15 Nunez Powers. That was funny. Great high lob there.
Yeah.
That's a great shot. You know, there's the one element, that mid-court ball, you know, they give it soft and easy down the middle, and as you said, the Power's not so easy to deal with. Power sees that coming. He slaps it right at him. 40-15. Had 2 no-ad games in the first 2 games. See if we can get our first easy hold.
think working the ad now, you can see that sun peering out. Let's see if that affects. No, it's not. It's not Nunez's face there.
It
Just
is a
at the
little
edge of
against the
that,
spot,
right?
but I think this will be the
Right.
last game where it comes into play at all. It's pretty much you don't see any more shadow on the court. Sun is going down. Temperature go down a little bit too, but it really is, a good playing temp now. Like it wasn't like before, but these guys are measuring it right now. Working that side screen shot. And as we said, it's been live streaming all day. The other men's semi is about to go on. Grigorovic and Ostojic against Regalado Salazar. It's kind of funny for Grigorovic and Ostojic. They played in the Steel City Classic 2 weeks ago. All right, so 3 Love. Let's talk. I'll get to that point in a minute when we talk about one of our sponsors.
Yeah. So we got Bully Boy in the house. Bully Boy is a handmade distiller of spirits where every great batch leads to an even better one. Enjoy the old fashioned while you watch the best in the game at the Boston Open. That was my big mistake is I didn't bring my Bully Boy with me, and I may have to go just to go get one. I mean,
Get a Bully Boy. They are good. They are
Yeah.
fantastic. Yep, that'll be my
so if I'm
well-earned
slurring,
reward.
if I'm slurring my words a little bit more than normal,
I mean, not more than normal.
you know,
You're pretty good at it at this stage. All right, so 3 Love
All right.
Nunez powers, and Adam Morgan to serve here, and a good start. He takes one practice. You can still see the sun in that last corner. You can see it right in his face. It's going to be completely gone in a second here, but he's going to have to deal with it on this serve only. When he gets into the net, the sun will be gone.
yeah.
Yeah, so I was getting to the point that Grigorovic and Ostojic are going against Regalado Salazar in the other men's semi. And they just, in the Steel City Classic, Grigorovic and Ostojic went to the finals, and they played Salazar and Nunez, who were teaming up for that one because Mark Powers wasn't playing.
Right.
And then the week after, they play in the Ridgewood Classic, and they played Regalado and Nunez in the finals, and they lost that. Both were good matches. And now they finally get Regalado Salazar in this one, so they get the actual version.
Yeah,
here
they
in
got the
semis.
trifecta.
Yeah, they got the trifecta, right, from Regalado to Salazar to Nunez. All right, so 15 Love. Powers there, kind of a slap shot forehand. He usually moves his feet a little more on that one. Kind of saw an opening, he went for it, but he wasn't set up. Great shot
that's
there.
an unreal dig.
Yeah. Just gets his
It
paddle
must have
under.
gone beam, and we couldn't see it from here, but that had to have hit the beam.
I can't see it from my side either. Went off the screen. Yeah, it was a heck of a dig. Good fake there from Powers. Looks like he might drive it, and he block lobs it. Terrific playing and communication there. I like the way Powers and Nunez have it worked out where when Powers has to move too far, that's just out. He's going to ask Charlie Beal to confirm, and Charlie Beal does. 30 Love now for McNerney Morgan, looking for their first game. Nunez Powers are doing a good job. When Powers is getting in there and they go hard into Powers' screen, he's coming over, and he's hit 2 of those cutter overheads that you were marking on before, Will. And he's ready to cover that middle, which is great because he can get a good look on an attacking cutter or an attacking forehand there in the middle.
McNerney very stable with his hands.
It's literally perfect. Like if you have to talk about how to hit a perfect volley, so good right there. He sees it. He has a great drop shot. Went for a little too much there. He was leaning the other way. So 30-15 now. Tell you the atmosphere here in Boston is always phenomenal. And you don't really see it like a lot of people in the stands. You got the side stands that's full and heated. That one's pretty full. The back stands, it's cold. And in the shade now that's coming in, it's going to be probably feels like under 10 at this point. But the action around everywhere else, it's packed up in the back lot here. They got, as you were mentioning, the Bully Boy. They got one of their sponsors in there against beer. People are enjoying a cocktail and watching some of the best in the game. So. And the women's match has been phenomenal today as well. Always one of the best tournaments that kind of sets the tone or the stage for where we're really driving the Nationals right now, Will.
Yeah. This is I think there's a lot that's going to get sorted out in the next few weeks here as far as seeding goes, and just kind of how players are going to address a couple of the key teams going into nationals. This is a great part of the season where things start kind of coming together for the teams and trying to dial everything up for the biggest tournament of the year.
Yeah, and you'll even see, like, frequently in a quarterfinal reprieve and stuff, a lot of these top players, they already have enough points, or, they just don't want to risk their bodies any more than they have to. They won't play. But then you're finding some teams like you're finding just an amazing volley there. Bad mistake on the overhead.
Yeah.
And there's the same shot that we've seen 3 times now. So they're going to have to watch that play. Powers gets sneaking up the side wire. So you think, okay, I'm going to smash it into the side screen so he doesn't get the look, and hopefully he'll bait. But he's just calmly letting it go, knowing that Nunez is behind him, looking for that offensive play. So the Powers move is, and he got one before where he took it early, is setting up Nunez as well. So great job.
Well, it's incredible. I mean, that shot to hit a slash off of a ball coming in at that angle is, and have that much control of it's, just an incredible shot. And he hasn't missed any of them.
No, he's 3 for 3, and 2 of them outright winners. So kudos. He's going to get to stay back here. Yeah, no point coming in after you smash it like that. Ooh, surprised Powers there with that volley, but quick hands. All right, so this is where Powers and Nunez have done just a great job. 2 games they've been behind in the game. They're getting it to this no-ad game point again where they already are up 2-0.
Oh, this time Morgan going at Nunez.
Yep.
I think last time McNerney served to Powers.
Yeah, because his serve in the ad, he feels like he had actually Powers miss one there. All right, great play. And there's a good look, and there's the move where he doesn't hit it as hard, and this time Powers crushes it. So this right now has been really the story of the match. It's 3-love, but Nunez Powers 2 sudden deuce games that they've been able to win. And one of them they came back from 40-15 on. The other one they had a game point against and came back. So sort of the story of the match. Just been quick little moments.
Right. So this will be the 6th game point Morgan McNerney have right now, sitting at 0 for 5.
That's always your bailout, and McNerney just makes sure you can hit it slow to him, and he doesn't really crush it. And if he starts trying to crush it, it tends to be good for you because he makes some errors. Oh, great volleys there. Great setup. Look at this volley wall now.
I'll tell you one other thing. And obviously it was a 5-hour match, so you got to give him a little bit of credit. But Nunez is moving so much faster than I've seen him in the last couple matches. He's really on his toes. I think they want to come out and make a statement here.
Yeah, no
Maybe
question.
had enough of But just the way he's recovering to the middle and setting up for his next shot. He's really commanding the court well, much better than I remember.
Yeah, and this is the first set, and anything can happen. I think you make a great point, Will, about making a statement. Because there's the last 2 times these teams have played, McNerney and Morgan have won, and not only that, but there's sort of a little thing floating around. Like we have there's a kind of a clear top 3 teams right now. You have Nunez Powers sitting in 3rd, McNerney Morgan in 2nd, and Regalado Salazar sitting in kind of in the top spot. And it's the top 3 seeds in this tournament, just in that order as well. And there are those out there and some people who think that Nunez Powers, perfect shot, slow into the crease, and another sudden deuce game down. Well, I'll finish that point in a second. Yeah, amazing.
Oh, my goodness. Look at this ball.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, right into the seam and down. Gorgeous. And he held it for that split second, which didn't allow Morgan to go get it off the deck. The seam was just a real fortunate thing, but the fact that he held it and kept that kind of control was perfect. So 4-love on 3 sudden deuce games for Nunez Powers. No, what I was about to say is that there are certain people out there who believe that Nunez Powers have the edge over Regalado Salazar. All right? And Regalado Salazar have the edge over McNerney and Morgan, but that McNerney and Morgan have the edge actually over Nunez and Powers.
Right,
yeah. So it's kind of like a little trifecta thing. And so for Nunez Powers, this would be sort of a statement against that, right? You beat us the last 2 times, but all right, we're coming out here. And so it's interesting. And, I think you made a great point.
Yeah, and a lot of that is you could attribute some of it to style, but then there's also that feeling that you get when you play a team.
Sure.
You may be in for the long haul, or even if your tools match up well, they just and McNerney Morgan certainly would be one of the toughest teams to play against, just mentally knowing you're going to have to play really tight, and not tight, but
well, they're going to play tight oftentimes. So
yeah.
You don't get as many freebies, and they also are very good at shutting down your attacks. So it's a kind of
I guess that's what I mean.
Whammy.
You're going to have to play consistent enough within the threshold to withstand a average point being maybe twice as long as you might like.
Look at that, just thunder drive there from Morgan. But like you said, with with it being so cold out, and that's a winner.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, and it's not going to pop off the paddle as much. It allows you to deal with it. The ball is harder, so if you hit it, it could die right and not go over. But in general, most volleyers are more worried about the ball popping off their paddle, right? And you can't control it, and the ball goes out, right? And in the cold weather, you got an advantage when that comes. In that regard. And Powers are a phenomenal volleyers to begin with.
I actually don't think Morgan's forehand has won them a point yet. It's thrown Powers and Nunez into transition a couple times, which is nice. That's definitely a positive in cold weather to be able to take the net, but I don't think he's forced any errors.
Yeah, that's a great half volley there. Powers that time bails. That's a good waterfall there. Morgan pushing that ball deep. Good controlled volleys. High, deep lob with the blitz and forces the out ball as he sees him coming in. Overdoes it. Great move.
That's tough. It was the right decision from Morgan. Just a little wide on the target. She can't let him get an easy volley. Can't let Nunez get an easy volley on that move.
Yeah. So far, it's been all Nunez Powers in this early going, and it is early going. This can switch, and momentum can switch at any time in paddle. It was a bit of a slow start with a couple of errors, but Nunez Powers came out willing to be playing the kind of style, or any style. They didn't come out fast at all. They came out expecting to grind hard, and really they've just won every deuce point. There's a big ball.
40-30.
Big miss. Maybe
it's
McNerney
and Morgan's time.
Yeah, it's their turn now. This is how Nunez Powers came back in 2 games there. That's a great drive. Smart lob. It goes right at him. Good cutoff. That's a mistake there for Morgan.
So smart to take it right back at Morgan. Although, honestly, felt like Morgan was a little bit pigeonholed there. All right, we have another great sponsor, Corient, who I don't have the.
Well, let me tell you about Corient. All right. We can talk about Corient all day, and Corient is excited to partner with the APTA because whether as advisors to our members or as members themselves, they are already part of the APTA community. And to learn more about Corient, go to www.corient.com, and they are the official well sponsor of the APTA. So
I should know that
there
by
you go.
heart
You
by
should
now.
know that by
they're
now.
they're an incredible sponsor. Thank you, Corient.
All right,
All
so
right.
5
This is
love start.
Yeah.
Would you say this is a must-win game? But
for this set, maybe.
yeah, right. Well, it's interesting. You bring up a point there where it's clearly, obviously, within the set, that's going to work well for them. A little off the net winner. And any little thing at this point, it will be good for McNerney Morgan. Just get a game. And people often say you don't worry about the set when you're down 5 love, but you do worry about, playing the game the way you want to and sort of just developing some momentum down the road, and for that you can build upon with the second set. You could also look at it another way and just go, look, we had a bad set. They played great. We missed. Let's just go. We're just down a set. No big deal. We just play better now. And either way works for these guys. They've been around the block enough and have won, they win 90% of their matches. So they're used to dealing with this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, for me, there are two things for Morgan McNerney that I would look carefully at. And one is I actually think their system at the net, even though I feel like they didn't have the net as much as they might have liked to this last, series of games. But I think their better system at the net would be Morgan kind of prodding and rolling with McNerney kind of trying to hover and
just
disrupt at
balls.
the net. Yeah, instead of McNerney hitting any form of, I just don't think it's going to do enough right now. And
it's not their typical style, Will.
No, it's not. Although I have seen them roll that out before. I mean, they've done that, and it's extremely annoying. I mean, in these conditions, I actually think that's the way they should go. And then I think in the backcourt, they need to reevaluate a little bit how they're generating the offense. I kind of would like to see them switch. I'd like to see McNerney get involved in more of the hands battles, and maybe as tough as this is to ask, Morgan shelving the hard drive in lieu of kind of poking around himself a little bit. I don't know.
I don't think
they're.
Yeah, go ahead. Finish up.
I don't think they're going to be able to punch a hole in these two.
Well,
meaning beat them with pace.
Just beat it through them, right? Yeah, beat it through them,
Yeah.
right? No, I get you. And interestingly enough, you're talking about trying to get hands battles, but to get the hands battles, frequently sometimes McNerney gets those through his screen drives, but it's cold out, so the ball's not coming off the screen. He doesn't get that, so that one's gone. So where's he going to get them from? Dinks and blitzes, or driving it in there and taking it? So, they're all great points, and certainly whatever they're doing right now is not perfect. Maybe they just got to do it better. Like that time was perfect execution, and what you talked about, it wasn't necessarily intentional, but you have Morgan going back, hitting the overhead, and then you got McNerney patrolling when the drive comes, and he puts it away. It's not a bad idea, and the roller in this weather is going to be good. That ball's out, so right here on the doorstep of a game.
40-30.
And they've had a lot of game points. We've had 3 sudden deuce games. That's going to be a good dig. Just puts his paddle down underneath, flicks it up. Oh, Powers with that versatile forehand. It's crazy that stuff he's doing there. He hits a hard flat inside out, almost got a little side spin to it. Then he goes to a flick up, and this ball's traveling up around over his head, but it's all spin, and you can't react that fast. In fact, when it starts traveling up, you start thinking that's going out, but it's in by 3 feet because of the spin. Just he's so fast with his wrists. And here we are with our fourth set. It's set point and game point, and it's our fourth sudden deuce. And this will be 4 for 4 on these if they get this one for Nunez Powers. It's really just the story of the set, and there it is.
No.
Game and set for Nunez
Set.
Powers.
Nunez Powers. Nunez Powers lead 1-0.
Okay, well, we'll be right back in just a moment after these messages right here on the APTA YouTube channel with live streaming by Joho and Streambox Labs and match statistics by Court Director, which we'll bring up when we get back.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
I am Florentina Hanisch, and today I'll be giving a tip on how to start the match the right way. When I start my match, I like to start playing high percentage plays, so a lot of lobs, a lot of balls through the middle. And when I start driving, I go for 75% pace. I find that a lot of club players go for too much, too big at the beginning, but the muscles are a little bit tight at the beginning of the match, and then errors start accumulating. So beginning of the match, go for 75% pace, keep your swing nice and compact, and go a lot for the middle. For the beginning of the match, I would say for the first 4 games, that's when you should stay focused on playing a lot of high percentage. Once you have played 4 games and your muscles start loosening it up and you figure out strengths and weaknesses of your opponents, then you can start changing the plays. I am Florentina Hanisch. I hope you enjoyed this tip.
All right, welcome back to the APTA Tour. I'm Brad Easterbrook with Will Colmar, where our number 3 seeds of Nunez and Powers just won the first set, 6-love against the number 2 seeds of McNerney and Morgan, winning 4 of the sudden death points there. And there's our quick court director stats, and you can see 62% of the points that's a high number. Any close match, you'd have like 52 to 48, something like that. And so, and the 4-love and the sudden deuce wins really just tells the tale of the set, and they made a couple of errors on those. So we'll see what McNerney and Morgan have planned for this second set. You outlined a couple of things you'd like to see them do, Will, and why don't you go over those again real quickly?
Yeah, well, personally, I'd like to see in these conditions Morgan running a little bit more of the overheads and McNerney trying to pick off and, as you said, patrol the net a little bit. His hands are just so good, and Morgan is really good at limiting offense in the backcourt. So I think that would be a very annoying and painstaking proposition for Nunez and Powers in the backcourt. And then I do think it's not that Morgan shouldn't be driving forehands. He should, but you're not going to beat him with power. You've got to find a way, like that ball there. It's a very well hit ball. It's not going to affect them the same way it would in in warmer conditions.
15
So
love.
I think he's got to find a way to maybe take that same forehand, take a little bit off, stretch the angle, figure out if there's a way McNerney can blitz behind it.
30
Nice serve there. Not sure what happened, but I just don't see that recipe working well in these conditions.
And the conditions, of course, are that it's really cold out. Not really windy. There's a little sun now in Morgan's corner in the bottom right of your screen, coming in the other way there, but I don't think it's going to be a big issue. But they volley so well, as you were mentioning there. And by the way, let's have some kudos to our umpires today. I mean, it is like 0 degrees up in the chair. Just 3 great shots there from Powers and Nunez.
40
And
love.
they did invest in these. They got heated, battery-powered seat warmers, which I honestly don't think these guys could survive without up there, because it's a metal chair. And Charlie Beal, there's a bully boy waiting for you when you get down.
Yeah.
So kudos to the umpires. While we're at it, let's talk about Drew Sawyer, Kula Bubnik, the chairs here for this event. Done a fantastic job bringing the community together. It keeps going for Nunez Powers here. Good start there. Let's see if they implement some of that strategy you were talking about now that they're in their service game when they get the net. And I do like the fact that, the roller from Morgan will be harder to drive or dip at the feet. Powers will hit it anyway if it comes to his forehand, but it'll definitely make it a little trickier for Nunez. And they did get hurt. Like we saw 3 cut, off the screenshots that Nunez was able to get. And they got him because, they were going hard into the screen. And you're saying Morgan doesn't even hit that shot. So they're going to eliminate that. And what he's really doing more than anything else, and Nunez Powers on a 6-point streak you can see there, is he's, you're asking for them to limit whatever offense they can get. And by that consequence, they're going to play more of the long points, which they're going to need to do to hang in here.
And,
and not only that, they just have to – they really just got to play better too well.
Yeah. You got to step it up a notch, get rid of some of the loose errors, but –
Right. It's going to go around again to Nunez. Yep, they're doing that perfectly. And there goes Powers with the move that time. That ball's more deep and into his body. So better overhead. It doesn't bounce up into the Powers forehand as much. Good shot there from McNerney. That was a tough take for Powers. Fully committed, though, on his move. Great hands there from Morgan, just blunting that great drive from Powers. Didn't pop it up.
Oh. I like that move, though. I love that move.
15
Yeah, you were saying you want him patrolling that net, and he was right there. But that ball's so low to the net. Just a great drive there from Nunez.
Yeah, very, very low. That was a quality drive.
You see Powers make the move up the wire. That's tough. Oh, I thought he was in trouble, Nunez. I thought maybe McNerney had the jump on him, but he just missed it.
Yeah.
Constant pressure there from Nunez Powers, though. It's like 4 or 5 drives, solid probing, still heavy enough with a lot of spin. So good work. Nunez Powers here, so far flawless. 4-0 on deuce games, winning 60 what was it, 62%? That's a tough one right there. Short lob.
15,
Cars
40.
it right into the body. All right, 2 break points here. Yeah, this is the ball you're talking about, though. That long, low one that's just hard to do anything with. It's not surprising. Like, Morgan's not going to surprise you. He's not going to beat you, but he's not going to give you much.
Yeah, so the goal would be to just start driving them insane slowly and saying, okay, drive this one. It's not a great one. Drive this one. It's not a great one. Okay, then you got to go really deep into points. And I think that's where it's going to favor Morgan McNerney a little bit more. But right now there's been a little too much action, not quite enough of the control on their side of the net when they're established at the net, and that's a tough way to play.
Yeah, good move there. Powers
yeah.
Oh.
But I love that for Morgan McNerney. That's unfortunate, but
Game.
It is, but they got caught. Like, he tried to go behind him, then that dink forced Morgan to have to volley cross-court because he's afraid of the blitz, and that sets up a transition. Even he gets the net, and I understand that's why he won that point, but the whole thing got set up nicely, and it stopped maybe, and it started maybe because, again, they too much going on. Either way, right now it's just working all ways for Nunez and Powers, so these guys are playing, and they're giving them, like, a lot of pressure, and there's a gift. And I was about to say they're giving them very little. And there's one of the first gifts we've seen from Nunez and Powers. Powers just going for an offensive shot behind Morgan. He misses it. And nothing will spur a comeback better than your opponent starting to miss a few balls. That's usually what I count on. Could you please miss a few balls so I can, so it looks like I'm playing better?
Yeah, to Nunez and Powers' credit, have very few unforced errors here, which is also a big change from patches of the national match that they played. I mean, it felt like there were a few streaks where they made maybe a couple uncharacteristic mistakes, and then that's all you need to give Morgan McNerney to sit on top of you for a little bit.
That's a spot there from Morgan. He got that right off that left hip.
15,
Gets
30.
Nunez to reach. Great spot. Perfect. Good dig there from Morgan. They are working him. I don't know how he got so bollocksed up there, but I think he thought he was going back to the side screen again, Will, and he just had no idea he was coming there with that ball.
It looked to me like that ball slid instead of kicking. So it's one of those where I think he was anticipating the bounce to actually grab on the surface rather than cut through.
Yeah.
It didn't, and it's
so
like
he thought it was going to kick to his right in front of his forehand side, and then when it's backhand side, there was nothing left. He had no choices left. Right.
No.
Interesting. You might be very right. That's a great call there. All right.
I think it's cold enough where the ball isn't. It's kind of not compressing on the surface on those long low ones, and you may get. It's almost like a hydroplane effect when you cut it that low.
Yeah, you're expecting the ball to grab and push off to the side because that's actually what that spin should do.
Yep.
But it's too cold, so the ball doesn't compress enough. Now I think it's a great call because you don't see a player of this caliber look like that very often.
No.
That's a great shot, but you got it. That's where he would follow it up with a blitz, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, maybe
it's not the shot. The shots he's not going to miss those volleys, but he might miss them if you got a blitz behind it.
Right.
Oh, that's a good lob there. Good hold and push down the middle there. He didn't bite on anything, just dumped it. Oh, look at that. Just masterful control of pace there. He goes cutter's card. He's moving around. All of a sudden, he holds it. Just a subtle push to the side.
To love in the second set. Nunez Powers won the first set, 6 games to love.
Yeah, rolling. Rolling our Nunez and Powers. And, at this stage, for me, Morgan and McNerney, Nunez Powers are just playing too well at this point, too. They got to find a way to bring that level down, get an error or two, and then capitalize. Right now, there's been very little room. Outside of they got to just play better, but there's been very little room for them to kind of move into this match.
I have never, ever seen McNerney or Morgan down the scoreline. I've never seen this.
Well, it's kind of a perfect storm of a lot of things going on here.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's also Nunez Powers. I mean, we might be having a very different discussion if they could have just won 2 of those games in the first set. But either way, at this point, all the things that are working for Nunez and Powers, and they are able to really control much more of it, And they've had offense from the backcourt with their ability to spot drive and control it and place that ball around. And when they get the net, they have control with their overheads. They've been able to cut and carve and move it around. Baiting him again. Nunez loves that stuff. He wants to play this, and then you try to go behind him. He's so good at that game. And there goes Powers with that hooky forehand. Back to the side. Tough dig. Great job. Powers again. Blitz behind it. Nothing there. I think he caught it. That is outstanding.
The heck?
It's ridiculous to pay a ball from your shoelaces just over the net, right on the back of the line. They had to look at it to see if it was out, because 80% of the time, a ball from under the net like that gets hit with pace gets out. But the temperature, everything's just working well for Nunez Powers. I think he might have felt bad, so he missed the next ball. He just blocked the next simple return out. He's like, I feel bad I hit that winner over there through the middle. Thunder.
Yeah, but you're right. I mean, absolutely everything going Nunez Powers' way, too.
All right, I got to give a quick shout out here to Leo Power, old friend of mine from back in the day. And by old, I really mean old, Leo, how old are we now? 62, baby. Yeah, I'm right there with you. One of the great Boston legends here. Leo Power, his brother as well, Bill. And it's great to see you.
I love that little chip right there. He's got Morgan off the net. Powers just fills it in. Great half hop from Morgan to keep that thing going, but that's a tricky little ball.
Yeah, these guys are just picking away, and seemingly in most facets of the game, right here at the net is where you see McNerney be able to get some control, but just hasn't been able to get it. And as a consequence, Powers are picking away with their drives when they get them, and as soon as they get one down, they get 3 to 4 more, right? They're just not missing. Great combination. That's a good overhead.
I
rains
mean,
and pours. Rains and pours.
You can't make this up.
Yeah, but a perfect point. The let cord's it's more insult to injury. But you can't say that wasn't a perfectly played point by those guys. Now they are getting the bonus of the let cord. But, yeah, just fantastic. It's more like everything's working their way. Even on the chance that they get, it's just working. So when it feels that way, it's very demoralizing. They got to just weather the storm, because everything that's like that breaks back. And if somehow they could get this game, it breaks back in the other direction eventually. If they could somehow get this game, right, and just get anything positive to happen, it would mean the
Yeah,
world.
the question is are they too far behind the clock at this point?
They're not to me. They're not to me.
I don't think so either, but it's getting close. I mean,
oh no, you're right. It's very close. Yeah, if we had like a DEFCON scale here, it's pretty high up there. Like, that's a great get. Good try. Powers with the move. Great volley from Morgan.
Oh my goodness, that's a ridiculous volley from Morgan.
And another ridiculous shot from Powers, though, on the full stretch flick forehand.
He's playing.
Powers.
He is playing as good as I have ever seen him. I don't think he may have missed a couple of the forehands that were really hyper aggressive moves out to his left to try to, pinch the side screen on that ad, but he has roped so many of those today.
Yeah, no, those are incredible shots. And tough one. Goes for the dink. But again, without a blitz behind it, I'm not sure I understand the point. Right?
Yeah,
what are they going to do? They'll just let it bounce and hit it over, right? If it doesn't have something there that adds to it.
I think McNerney is
searching.
Yeah, sorry.
No, go.
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah, I think he's trying to figure out how this is going to possibly turn for him, and I do like the pressure. I think he should be pressuring, and right now you don't have a ton to lose. Not that you want to go way outside of your threshold, but you kind of can't stay doing what you're doing here.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that, and the dink, though, had that dink gone over, would it have applied pressure?
No. I agree. I think there needs to be follow up on that. But
right.
But you say I just saw him starting to kind of step in a little bit here, and so we'll see if he tries to cause a little bit more disruption.
Oh, that's going to work in their favor.
Oh, well,
there we go.
Hey, there it is. They just need about 10 more.
There you go. Hey, it starts with one. Just get their first game under the belt, and we'll go from there. We have had 0 sudden death games in this set. Goes heavy. That's going to get hammered. What a great volley. And Powers mistakenly takes the half volley there. Could have gotten a turnaround screen.
40.
All right, couple of game points here. McNerney Morgan just aching to just get their first game. Something positive. And that's too good. He's right there. Yeah, but when you're an inch from the net, he's apologizing, and he's only apologizing because it was unintentional. But when you belly up to the net like that, good things often happen.
Well, I'm sure you've played against Bill Fiedler.
I have, yes.
Do you remember what that guy used to do?
He was a wizard at the net.
Yeah. He would intentionally hit it off the tip of his paddle. He would miss-hit his volley to drop shot you. All right, and we got a first deuce game of the second set, our 5th in total.
What hands, and that's a really good shot and a beautiful half volley. And as you mentioned before early on, Nunez's movement is fantastic. He is all over the court. He's road runnering. Like, he's just quick to his spots. And you might think there's a spot, but then he just gets there right away. And his hands are always in front of him. So he's got this phenomenal ability to stick his paddle on the ball and get it back. And there we go. First game for McNerney Morgan.
Game. McNerney Morgan.
You can see.
And let's talk about Miller and Company.
Yeah. Miller and Company is a Compass Real Estate Agency consistently ranked as a top producer in the greater Boston area. The Miller and Company team is excited to be a supporter of the great game of paddle and the Boston Open. Thank you, Miller and Company.
All right, so McNerney Morgan, I mean, would we call it a sign of life? Like it's kind of like the beep, beep, finally a little bit of something there. Let's see if they can build on it. 2 games in a row, you never know what can happen. And here's a putt where they got to try to steal some momentum. It would go a long way, but then again, another just a beautifully spotted drive. They're just on point with these shots today. And I don't know if that tipped the net or not, but because I couldn't quite see it. But that's a heck of a shot.
Well, it did look like Morgan stepped off the net. Maybe, oh boy.
Yeah, there was another one.
Maybe anticipating a lob, and it was a well-measured drive. It wasn't the hardest drive that Nunez has in his arsenal, but it got low. Effective. That's what I want to see more of, Graham.
That's McNerney right there. His skill set allows for that type of thing, and it's one of his difference makers. Everybody who's a top seed here has difference maker plays, and that's McNerney's, or one of them. Meaning you attack him, and he can volley a ball with his reach
15.
and his great technique, and he ends up putting it away on a ball a lot of guys can't. All right, so 15-30. This would be huge if they get this game. They're definitely signs of life. And we all know how momentum works in paddle. 1 or 2 misses, and there's another and a great volley, but they're coming straight at him now, and these guys are coming up with the goods, and maybe Nunez Power is overplaying a couple of these scenarios. But
yeah, agreed.
This is huge for them. And it feels like there's a moment here. And for Nunez and Powers, it's been going so good for so long that if it just gets a little less good, it'll feel like something. You know what I mean? Because they've been getting some let cords. On top of their great play, they've been getting good fortune as well. And that's out.
That was deep, yeah. The first cutter like that he's missed.
McNerney Morgan
is a great look.
Nunez Powers lead 4-2 in the second.
All right.
Yeah,
signs of life.
Right. If you're Nunez Powers, I can't tell you how much different 4-3 is at this juncture is going to feel than 5-2.
Yeah.
It will feel like an entirely different match.
Oh, missed it. Just missed it.
Yeah, just deep.
15.
Good look. Didn't need quite as much gas on that.
Yeah, but doesn't he kind of always hit it with the gas?
Yeah, but that's so. I mean, obviously he has gears. His preferred is kind of on the high end, the hammer. But again, in cold weather, I don't see it being. The utility of it is not nearly as high.
Yeah.
30 love.
So
right.
you kind of risk that, and you're not getting as much back. I don't know.
Good leave, just out again.
Yeah, the collective margin has been, I think, maybe 3 or 4 inches of misses this game. Yep. Unfortunate, but
game of inches, as they say. Right in the crease. Good get there from. He's going to roll it. That's going to go out. Great
40,
move.
15.
Powers couldn't quite get over there for a good enough drop.
40, 15.
Great instincts on the read, but yeah, just just not quite enough to finish it.
It's a good lob. Oh! And Nunez was 90% set up to hit it. Hey, look, sneaking back. Couple of points right there from 40 love. Get this thing to a deuce game, sneak it away, more momentum. Yeah, subtle cracks starting to seep in here. That's great. Can he dig it? He does. McNerney going to work. Right in the crease.
Yeah, a little too much.
Okay, here we go. It's got interesting. Our first sudden deuce game of this second set, and a big one. All the momentum starting to shift to McNerney Morgan. Huge play here. Can they get their first sudden deuce game win? They have had none, McNerney and Morgan. Powers hitting for that crease. Cut long. Well played there. Good high lob. Big drives, big drives. Carving.
God, Morgan pasted up against the ropes like Rocky.
Yes, he's working it like Rocky, yes. Oh, waterfall does it!
Oh, wow.
And huge momentum killer for Nunez Powers. And they take their fifth sudden deuce game, 5-0 on the match. Just fantastic. I mean, it was an interesting point. They never really got control. You know, McNerney Morgan, they had one good look and too good there. McNerney and, Morgan. And Morgan just gets turned around. He finishes him off with that waterfall. Beautiful. That was a big moment there, Will. 4-3, all the momentum's just right to McNerney and Morgan there. A little more breathing room. They still actually have to watch it. This is a different animal than it was when it was 6-love, 4-love.
It is, and I'm really impressed with Nunez's spin potential in these conditions. Some of those were just hopping, and that's a great lob right there.
Yeah,
and he's been able to generate enough spin to make it worthwhile in these conditions.
No question.
Not easy to do.
The ball's reacting differently than it did this morning. There's no question. I mean, it's still not the same spin that you normally get, but in a weird way, it's also good because it's also not the same spin off the screen, meaning you hit those heavy cutters, it's going to move off the screen, but sometimes it pops up a little too. Here, the ball's staying down more.
Yeah.
It's trickier. So the negative to sometimes with the spin is that you overdo it and it pops up a little and they get a quick drive when you don't think they're going to get it after they defend long enough and you do one too many. Here, the ball's just staying down more. Big ball, but they got to stay back. Yeah, too good, too hard, too hot. The back screen. Again, carving it up.
That was another one.
He thought it was going to move the other direction.
Yes, and it when he hit it, I kind of anticipated it doing that too. It's got to be playing just cold enough where it's losing a little bit of that grab on the court level. I mean, it's kind of wild.
Yeah, and what a difference it's making in the match. I mean, it's certainly one of the difference makers. We can say that, Nunez and Powers have had probably 5 to 10 of those, right, in this match when you're counting up the points. And how many have Morgan and McNerney had? I think it's a 0. Would you say how many drive winners is Morgan getting, or drive difference makers? Very low, right? How many overhead putaways or controls, is McNerney getting? Very low. And if you're going to say that in any match, you're pretty much not looking at a McNerney and Morgan win, right? You're going to look at a match that they're going to be losing.
And it's one of the tools that isn't really in either Morgan or McNerney's kit, is that long low ball. I mean, most of McNerney's spin overheads tend to be a little bit more down. Higher point of contact, third panel smashes.
Agreed.
He's also just really tall, so it's harder to generate. I've seen him do it, but he's got to get real down to make that happen.
Nice. Oh, wrong foots him there. Nunez again with the get.
What a dig.
But you're right. It is not more of his skill set. He's more like, he doesn't drop the ball. He keeps doing that to you more. And if he could get down and drop one, and Morgan doesn't do it at all. Morgan really just hits rollers, and once in a while he pushes it flat through the middle, and that's it.
Yep. Yep.
And it's not effective in its point-ending ability. It's effective in giving you very little to work with. This is a good setup for Powers, but he gets him this time.
What?
Oh, almost with the round. It's kind of an inverted tweener backhand flip. Good look here.
He started off trying to hit it backhand and then realized I can't do that, and then flipped it around.
And he almost came up with it. It was actually a good try. Powers got burned there thinking he could get it around McNerney. And, look at this. Okay. Still not done yet. They keep this game in there. They still got to serve it out. And Nunez
I think that's the play that
casual. We're seeing McNerney finally get some volley putaways in this set, right?
Yeah.
There's been 3 or 4, and we talked about that being one of the things he needs to get. So in a couple of those cases,
I want him.
Yeah, go ahead. You want him to mix it up more?
I want him on the net right now with Morgan hovering behind him,
so he can do more of the same.
Yes. Playing almost like an I formation or something where he's just blanketing the net.
Great height.
That's a great ball.
Yeah, they're just carving it up pretty good. That is a great ball. He's looking back at the screen like it should have hopped a different way. It's not hopping the way he's thinking right now, and it's got to be a little bit due to the weather. But either way, phenomenal shot, 30-all. Some really entertaining points here. Big, huge drive. That's going to be tough. He's not getting that. That is a great play. Vintage McNerney in the exchange. There's not a lot of guys better in the exchange than McNerney. And you can see him. He's got the length and the range, and he keeps his paddle in front of him. They get this game. It's a totally different set, but, still obviously a massive edge to Powers and Nunez, but they've turned this into something here.
Do you think the sudden deuce makes these kind of deeper comebacks tougher?
That's a great point. It gives you more opportunities for momentum-changing shots. And here's another sudden deuce game. And Nunez Powers have been a perfect 5-0, and it's match point and game point here. So match point for Nunez Powers. And then we'll try to touch on that if we need to as it goes. Oh, another let cord, and he's got it for the winner.
No.
Just perfect, and that's a way to finish.
It was not meant to be today, Morgan McNerney. I'm sorry, guys.
No, it wasn't. I mean, the let cords definitely went Powers Nunez way, but they deserved it. But it got a little interesting there.
Nunez Powers played pretty flawlessly. I think they. Obviously had some things go their way too, but honestly, that would have been a very tough match to win either way with those guys playing like that. That was impressive display.
Yeah, 6. So they did get a sudden deuce win, though. So 6-1. I think the game they won at 4-love actually was also sudden deuce. So that's right. So 6-1 Nunez Powers, which really tells the tale of the tape. Outside of that, they just really had more control from the backcourt and the front court. They were able to carve up some balls. Definitely get Morgan 3 or 4 times looking for a ball to bite into the screen or to work back against the way it typically might. It did not. And, yeah, kudos. Good job for Nunez Powers. And you had mentioned earlier, Will, if they were looking to make a statement, I think they did.
Yeah, in a pretty big way. And again, I'm really curious to see how that carries over to the rest of the season. I think that in a weird way, it might light a fire under Morgan McNerney, and it definitely make for a great show next time they play.
Yeah, and I think this is not going to be like where they're like, wow, they just killed us. They're just going to be like, hey, they were better. We didn't have a good day.
Yeah.
They had a better day. They got some breaks. We didn't get anything. And, some days you have good days and other days, it just doesn't work out. And sometimes when people play a certain way, it's also, they didn't miss a lot of drives. They gave them a little blip in there in that second set where they gave them a little bit to work with, but so little that the margin was so small. All right, that was a pleasure. And we got the women's finals coming up, Will, so stay tuned for that. Pleasure calling it with you. And we'll be back in a moment with the women's finals right here on the APTA YouTube channel, presented by Joho and Streambox Labs with match statistics provided by Court Direction. That was a pleasure, Will.
Hey, thank you, Brad. Great stuff.
A lot of founders start out with an idea, maybe in a garage, in a shared workspace, and really being a co-pilot along that whole journey from ideation to execution to maybe monetization one day is really the role we've decided to take in the marketplace. So I feel like we have really found a part of the market and offering that just really hasn't existed. It's this coaching, it's therapy, it's co-piloting on a journey that is unique.
Hi, I'm Cindy Prendergast, and today I'm in Chicago, and I have a tip for you. Oftentimes we play teams that are better than us, unfortunately, and we just did today. My partner Lauren Zink and I, we played Macy Elliott and Lynn Burris. My tip is this: play within yourself. That first set we lost 6-0 because I think we were just trying to do too many things. We didn't play like we typically play because I think we were probably a little threatened by their aggressiveness and their volleys and so forth. Second set, we played more within ourselves and we made less errors and we caused them to make a little bit more errors, and it was 6-4. So I guess, again, my tip is play within yourself. Enjoy playing these higher seeded teams. There's no other sport like our sport that gives you the opportunity to do so and have fun. I'm Cindy Prendergast. I hope you enjoyed this tip. I hope you all go out and beat these higher seeded teams, have fun doing it, and then enjoy a beer with them afterwards.